everybody, welcome back. So today I'm going to show you how to do a cut crease for a hooded eye. So I have quite a large eye and a hooded eye, so it's a little bit more challenging, but today I'm going to give it a go and break it down as best possible so that anyone with a hooded eye might be able to recreate the look. So I'm going to get started. So I'm going to start with my JCat StaySurance concealer. So this is in the colour Buff, and I'm going to pop that all over the eye on both sides. This is quite a high coverage concealer. It just blocks out any discoloration. I have a little bit of discoloration on my eye, so it blocks all of that out. So I'm just getting a little small blending sponge, and I'm just going to pat that in until it completely gets rid of any colours that's there. Gives you a fresh base to start with. Starting by going to my Urban Bible palette by SoSue and Keilidh. It's a collaboration they had together, and in this palette we have a mixture of colours, great selection of colours actually. So we're going to stick with more of the browns and champagnes and sabre right here. And I have a Revolution makeup brush. So again, these are limited edition ones, so there's no number on them. But I'm going into that warm brown. So this is a cut crease is a lot of packing and blending. So I'm going to start where above my natural crease, and I'm just going to place it down. So I'm doing this at first with my eye half open so that I can see where I'm placing it. And we're just doing a half moon. So once you have that packed on, I'm getting a fluffy brush like this shape. So this one is a BlankCanvas E26 brush, and we're just going to blend the edge. So this will take a little bit of time. Little circular motions back and forth. So once you have that first bit blended out, we'll go back into the same colour and we just pack on another layer of that just to deepen that again. Even though we're blending outwards, we don't want to lose the colour or lose your shape either. So a little half moon. We blend again. So it does take time. Just went ahead and did exactly the same on the other eye just to save time in this. And I'm dipping into the white, which is Veil, from the same palette, and I have a tapered blender brush from Fuchsia. It's just a little bit fluffier and it's cleaner. So I'm going in with the white, and I'm going to just blend the edges with this. Right now it can look a bit crazy, but it will come together for you. Back into the white again, just blend both edges. Just make sure that's tidied up a little bit. And then when your brows are done, it'll all come together as well. So I'm going back in with my little packing brush, the fluffy one, and I'm going for a darker colour out of the palette, which is Oath. And we're going back in to the same movement, just a little bit lower when you're packing on the colour. So just keep it a little bit lower than where you placed your warm brown, and pack it on again in the half moon circle. So we're just trying to deepen the crease. So don't worry if the colour is going anywhere else here, because we can clean that up. That's why we do the eyes first when we're doing these kind of looks. So I'm going back to my BlankCanvas brush E26, with the original soft brown colour on it, and I'm just going to start blending that edge again. So again, we don't want to blend away either of your colours too much, just want to soften the edge. So I'm going back into that dark brown again, that oat, and I'm going to pop it out on the outer corner here, just to deepen that there. And I'm just packing it on. So I'm going back to my fuchsia tapered blended brush again, and I'm going back to the white, and I'm just making sure this is blended as well again, just softly. I'm only barely going over that. I'm going in with the SoSue and Keilidh SK05 brush, so you see it's a flat brush. And I'm going back in with that concealer that I used initially, popping it onto my flat brush. And what I'm going to do now is cut the crease. So we want to start in the inner corner, and we want to, okay, so normally when you cut the crease, you wouldn't have that natural hood that's there when you don't have a hooded eye. But I have a hooded eye, so I need to keep above that to create an illusion if I want to do the strong cut crease. So start in the corner, pack it on slowly. Now full cut crease will come all the way across. I'm doing half one. So I'm stopping here, and I'm just packing that onto the rest of the lid. And I'm just going to make sure that's sharp there. Go back to your fluffy brush, your E26 BlankCanvas, and we want to soften this, diffuse it a little bit. So just brush back inwards is the easiest way to do it, just to soften that edge. You don't want a harsh line there. And then you can pack on a colour here. You can go matte or shimmer or whatever you want. I'm actually going to go for something quite shimmery highlight. So I'm actually going with the MAC. And it's MAC Oh Darling. I have a Sephora, a Pro Shadow Brush, number 14 I think. And I'm just going to pack that on right over that concealer. So this is quite a gold finish to it. I wanted something not too glittery, just shimmery. Now I'm going back to my brown, dipping slightly in the brown, the first warm brown, which is Sabre. And I'm just going to merge them there. Just so we don't have a harsh line. Now that I have the second eye done, you can see the two of them together. I went ahead and actually brought this a slight little bit higher as well. Just literally did the same thing, packed down a bit of concealer and then my shimmer over it. It's just to give you a better idea of how it works with a hooded eye when you do a bigger cut crease, a higher cut crease. So now I'm going to go ahead and put some liner on. So I'm using the Inglot 31T brush, so it's a little sharp brush. See how sharp that is? This is what makes a huge difference when you're doing an eyeliner, is when that brush is really, really sharp. So I have the Inglot number 77 eyeliner, and I'm going to start by doing my wing. So again, I want to kind of bring it up from my bottom line. You want that to follow on from your bottom line. So you start kind of about here. So again, depends how big or how elevated you want your liner to be. So we can go a little bit heavier here because we've quite a heavy look on our eyes. And I'm going to bring upwards and outwards. So you want it to come out as if the brow is coming down to meet it at the same time, if that makes sense. So it creates like this V. That's the angle you want it to come out at. Just like that. You want to go out to the almost to the corner where you finished up and come back in slightly, press down and drag back in. The inner corner. You can leave it like that if you want to. I like to go back in with a black or a dark brown, maybe a little mix of both. So I'm getting this out of the Urban Bible palette again. So we have Sin, it's black, and Oath is the brown. And my little packing brush, and I'm literally going to pop that down on the upper part of the lash, of the liner. And up into the crease area there. Just to deepen that a little bit. Get my little blending brush, BlankCanvas. Just make sure that's blended up on the upper edge there. So that's your liner done there. So underneath the liner, you will always have fall down here when you're using dark enough colours. So a little clean up there. This is also great if you're trying to sharpen your liner underneath. A little cleanup. So I'll do the other liner and come back. Now I have the two of those done. So my liner on both sides, and just made sure everything's blended really well. And I'm going to go with some liner on the bottom waterline as well, just to smoke it all out loads. So I'm doing the gel liner as well. It's the best one for longevity in my opinion. Gets in there and it stays there. So I'm just going to grab my eye and slightly pull it down a little bit and just brush that onto the waterline. So once that is done, I'm going to go back to my Revolution brush. I just wiped off some of the product that was on it, get some of my warm brown that I would have started up here with, and I'm going to run that along the lash line. And underneath it if you want to as well. And then with the same brush, I'm just dipping into the black, which is Thin, and I'm going to just run it right above the lash line in on the waterline where we've put our gel liner. It just really smokes it out and sets that liner. So for lashes, I'm going to use the Becca Cosmetics. So I'm going to use these middle ones here. So I've got my glue on. I use the duo glue because it's safest for all eyes. So I'm going to look down into a mirror and I'm going to go in with one sweep, place down the lashes and leave them sitting there for a second. Grab the inner corner, push them right in and leave them for a second as well. Make sure they're sitting right. And then grab the outer corner and push them down. Now my two lashes on, and they're just setting and drying. So I'm going to go ahead now while that's doing that, and I'm going to pop on my foundation. So I've already moisturised before I even started any of this. I tend to do that because moisturiser sometimes can affect how your foundation sits, so you don't want to put it on straight away beforehand. You do it a little while, let it set into the skin, and then you can go ahead and put on primers or whatever it is you might need. I'm trying a new one today, so it's the Milani Conceal and Perfect, and it's a 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. So we'll give this a go. So I've put 2 pumps out onto my hand. And I've got a BlankCanvas Cosmetics, it's a F20 brush, and I'm just going to pop that all over the face. This colour is in ivory because I have no tan on today. So once I have my foundation on, I'm going to go back to my JCat concealer. This one has great coverage as well, which is quite important when you're doing such a bold eye, that you have a nice clean bright under eye. So I'm just going to pop this on a little bit down here just to brighten the centre of the face, for a little bit more coverage as well. I'm going to get my little small blending brush, or beauty blender, and we're just going to push that into the skin. So just be careful not to disrupt your eyeshadow that you've placed underneath your eye. Just going to draw that right up to my liner. So once you have that done, then you can move on to your powder. So I'm using the Flormar loose powder in Silver Sand, and just a BlankCanvas F42 brush. It's just soft and blends the shadow well, or the powder well, and I'm just going to start setting that slightly. So we want to mostly just push it into the skin. Now I'm going to do the brows. It'll all come together now when you see the brows done. So I'm using a Flormar brow shadow. The colour is wore off it, but it's dark. It's dark. In my spoolie first, I'm just going to brush out my brows. I want them. So I'm going to start by doing my bottom line. And I always start a little bit back from the front. So draw the line. A little bit too far. Just wipe that away. So we draw the bottom line. And then draw the top line. Just like that. Bring that down to meet. And then we're going to fill it in. Now, when I come to the front here, I want to lightly, I don't add any more product here usually, lightly come forward because there's some on the brush, and then brush upwards. Okay. This will just keep it a little bit more natural on the front when you have a full brow all the way back. So again, I'm going to brush it. And that's one brow down. Look at the difference that makes. So now I've got my 2 brows done, and I'm gonna just go in with a little bit of white, just slightly under the brow, just to brighten that area, to make sure we haven't lost that lift there under the brow. It's only the smallest little bit. It's blending the edge of the brown that's already there basically. And then we're going to move on to some bronzer. So I'm using the Rosie and SoSue Radiance Magic palette. And I'm going for the lighter colour today myself, which is cinnamon, because I've no tan on. An F22 BlankCanvas brush there, and I'm just going to start by little light circular motions up and around the hairline, and then bring that down to the cheekbone. Now I'm going to move on to the blusher, and I'm going to use, I have a Becca Cosmetics blusher here in Foxglove. So it's a luminous blush, so there's a slight little shimmer off it. There's the colour. So it's quite pigmented, this one is, so a little bit goes a long way. So I like to place a little bit of that one down and get my powder brush and blend it. So for highlighter, I'm actually going to use the same colour as I used on my eyes, which is the MAC Oh Darling, and I'm using a SoSue and Keilidh SK01 brush. I love this brush for highlight. So a little on the bridge of the nose, a little on the tip of the nose, and the Cupid's bow. Tiny bit on the forehead as well. So once that's all placed down, I always like going back in with my powder brush again, and just making sure all edges are blended well. And I kind of blend over it on the forehead because I want to blend it in to make it look a bit more natural. And around the edges. Same with the nose then. Might even need the tiniest bit more blush. I've only just used what was on the brush, I didn't add any more product. For the lips, I have a Flormar waterproof liner. This one's in number 202. Just that kind of a colour. And for the lipstick then, I have SoSue Birthday Suit. This has a lip liner as well. I seem to have misplaced it. I don't know what I did with it. I love that colour. And over that then, I'm just going to pop a little bit of Luna by Lisa Pink Ruby. It's just a little bit of gloss. So just in the centre even more so. Just add a little shine. So that's your cut crease look, suitable for all eye shapes. This is just to explain how it works on a hooded eye. hope you enjoyed that, and if you have any questions you can leave them in the comments below, and like and subscribe. See you next time.